The selected playing card is lost in the deck. The magician then dribbles the playing cards, reaches inside to grab one playing card, which is of course the freely selected playing card. I'm Madison and this is grab. The selected playing card is lost in the deck. The magician then dribbles the playing cards, reaches inside to grab one playing card, which is of course the freely selected playing card. The magician then dribbles the playing cards, reaches inside to grab one playing card, which is of course the freely selected playing card. Madison and this is grab. The selected playing card is lost in the deck. The magician then dribbles the playing cards, reaches inside to grab one playing card, which is of course the freely selected playing card. I'm Madison and this is grab. In this tutorial I'm going to share with you three and a half methods to achieve grab. The first method is the most difficult, and then as we go further into this tutorial they're going to get a little bit easier. Now the first method is difficult simply because we are doing exactly what we're saying we are doing. We are reaching into the dribbling deck and we are grabbing that playing card out from the deck exactly from its position in the deck. There's not much of a trick to this. This is just a skill that you're going to learn over time. However, there are some deceptive secrets that are helping us. One of them is the Black Mariah playing card. A few videos back I offered a complete masterclass for free for my YouTube subscribers on the Black Mariah. This is the Black Mariah device. It takes this standard 3mm corner of the playing card and it cuts off an extra millimeter so that the corners, the index corners of this card are now 4mm, meaning that when you put this in the deck it cannot be lost, because when you riffle your thumb up the back, the deck naturally stops at the Queen of Spades. This can help us in so many wonderful ways with so many magic tricks, including this one. If you haven't learned about this, go back and watch that masterclass, then come back to this video because it's going to help us achieve the first and most difficult version of grab. Version 1, we are actually grabbing the 9 of clubs from the deck as the cards dribble to the surface. There are a few things that can help make this easy for us. First of all, we position the playing card where we need it to be. So I've placed the Black Mariah 1/5 of the way down in the deck from the top of the deck, and then I've placed the 9 of clubs on top of that. So both of those cards are about 1/5 of the way down from the top. I'm going to dribble the deck from between my thumb and finger 3, finger 1 curled up on top and finger 2 resting on the front, finger 4 resting on the side. It's important to note that I'm allowing the playing cards to dribble away from my thumb, not finger 3, so they dribble from the back like this. With a Black Mariah playing card in the deck, when you dribble the deck like this, it will naturally stop at the Black Mariah at the 9 of clubs. So if I forcefully dribble past that point, I get a sensory notification at my thumb and my fingertip as to where that card is. Not only that, that sensory notification tells me the exact moment that I need to reach in and grab the next card, pull it out, and that will be the 9 of clubs. And of course, that's so much easier said than done. This is really difficult. Just try it, but when you try it you're going to get it wrong loads and loads of times. It takes practice, it takes time, but in my opinion and from experience it is worth the time, because when you start to hit it 100% of the time it feels great and it looks truly beautiful because it is exactly what you are pitching it to be. So what can we do to help ourselves, and how does the Black Mariah help? Firstly, we know where it is. Secondly, the Black Mariah is telling us where that card is. It's telling us when to reach in. I'm dribbling the cards at a certain height. It's like directly opposite my heart compared to this table. So there's about 30 centimeters, maybe a little bit less. And I'm timing the deck, so it takes about 2 seconds to dribble from my hand to the surface. These two things together mean that there is more time between the falling of each individual playing card, and that means more room for my hand to get in and grab that 9 of clubs. Now when my hand goes in there, it is finger 2 that's going in the deck and up, Charlie, please, in the deck and up, and it doesn't stay in the deck, it moves forward. So I go kind of diagonally across, upwards and forwards like this, right? So here's what's happening when I get to that point. I'm dribbling from here, and I know that I have to time it so that my hand is going into the deck before there's 1/5 left. And as soon as I feel that Queen of Spades, that Black Maria on my thumb, I go quickly with finger 2 into the deck like this so it connects, but I still keep dribbling those cards, and I shoot my hand forward like this, taking that card along for the ride. Now there's another thing that can help you. You can make finger 2 and your thumb wet. How you decide to do that is up to you. It's going to look a little bit strange if in the performance you stick your finger and your thumb in your mouth. Now I've performed this a few times at a bar, and there's always like a wet area or a damp patch or the condensation on the side of a glass. It makes things so much easier because you really do get a good grip on that card and naturally sticks to finger 2 as you're pulling it out of the deck. Now there's a few things that happen when you hit that card. One of the things is this: grabbing too many playing cards, other playing cards come along for the ride. But if you notice what I did just then, I made sure I committed to that bottom playing card and I dropped the other 2 and showed this one. The more of a mess that you make, the better for the trick, the more real and honest it looks, because yes, that will happen. That is something that would obviously happen if you're trying to grab a single playing card from all those falling playing cards. You're going to create a bit of a mess. The soap theory in basic terms is the simple idea that if it looks like you don't really know how to handle playing cards and you make a bit of a mess, it makes it look like you're less of an expert, therefore you have less control over the situation, and it makes it look more magical. Now when it comes to achieving grab in a performance, how do you set this up? How do you get the selected playing card into position next to the Queen of Spades, the Black Maria? It's very easy. You keep the Black Maria in position 1/5 of the way down from the top of the deck. So she's already in place from the start. She's right there. You have any playing card selected from the deck. When they return the card to the deck, you say, I want you to put that playing card back in anywhere. And I'm just stopping at the Queen of Spades, at the Black Maria, and extending that and saying put the card back here. There are plenty of other ways to do this, but like I always say, it depends on your performance style, how you have somebody select a playing card, and what tricks you did before, what tricks you're going to lead into, etc. But once the playing card, the 9 of clubs, is in position on top of that Queen of Spades, with it being in the top fifth of the deck, you can just do a very simple control shuffle, controlling that top slug by just holding with finger 2, holding the top 5th of the deck and then shuffling everything beneath it. I'm just keeping full control over the top 5th of the deck. It looks like I'm shuffling very fairly and very messily. And now when it comes to this, the grab, it couldn't look fairer. Now I feel like overcompensating my explanation because there's not much else I can give you. The cold school of experience is going to teach you more than you could ever know. Don't give up. Just keep practicing and keep trying, and eventually something will click in your mind where it just makes sense. The timing is the thing that you're practicing the most. You want to drop that deck, dribble it for exactly 2 seconds. If you go too fast, you're not giving yourself a good enough chance to be able to grab that card. Now don't be tempted to have a break, to cause a long break at that moment when the cards are dropping. What I mean by that is this: don't do this. Don't do that. That makes it so obvious what's happened. It tells the audience that you knew where the card was, you knew when to stop. It's a good way to ruin that magic moment. Once you get used to the way that Black Maria feels, the timing will just make sense and you'll be able to do it. This has been very difficult to teach. So for those who don't want to put the time in and those who want a quicker version of this or a more reliable version of this, let's take a look at the second method to achieve grab. Grab method 2. This one is so much easier, however it does require a little bit more sleight of hand. As you can see, I have a duplicate 9 of clubs for this trick. The first one of these duplicates is going to go in a left hand tenkai palm, which is right here between the thumb and the clunge of the left hand. I can now relax this hand and hold the other 9 of clubs and my fingertips and my thumb at the back just like this. Now when I'm holding this card like this, any audience and participant looking at this, the attention is all here on this card. It looks like this is the one and only responsibility of this hand. No one's going to question this. It looks very natural. It looks very acceptable. I'm just holding a playing card. Nothing to see here. Now I'm going to take the deck and I'm going to throw this card into the deck with this in a palm so that nobody sees this. Now, of course, I wouldn't perform this for somebody stood on this side because they're gonna see this. Most magic tricks and card tricks are angle sensitive. You just have to be mindful and be aware of your surroundings and who's around you. I wouldn't perform this trick if somebody was stood on this side. I'd go to the next method or the actual method, the first method. So I need to make sure this stays hidden while I'm throwing this inside. Now, one important note, when I throw this card into the deck, I'm gonna try to throw it exactly above the Queen of Spades, the Black Mariah, which is still near the top of the deck. And the reason that I do that, it gives me unconscious practice for another trick that I'm going to teach soon on my YouTube channel using the Black Mariah. But more importantly, if my audience have eagle eyes and they're really watching carefully where I put this card, I don't want to pull this card out from a position completely different to where I put it. So if I'm going to put it near the bottom of the deck, and then when I come to take it out, I'm taking it out from the top, I don't want my audience to call me out on that. I want to be aware of that. I want this to look as clean and as real as possible. So I use the Black Mariah as an indicator, as a guidance as to where that card is trying to be and where I'm trying to pull it out from. So the duplicate is in a tenkai palm. This card is here. Holding it like this means that I don't have to tilt my hand and show this. I can keep this hidden because I can just tilt that card like this at my fingertips. So I'm going to dribble the deck from the corners and I'm going to try and throw that in exactly at the Black Mariah. Now, just out of curiosity, let's see if I manage to get it at the Black Mariah. Perfect. And that's just something that comes with practice, and that's going to go a long way in helping us with our skills of timing and our muscle memory at our fingertips. So now I know where the 9 of clubs is. It's in the perfect position, the exact position that I need it. It makes it more realistic when I go to reach this, or when I go to take this apparently out of the deck. Now I'm going to pick the deck up at the corners and I'm going to dribble it to the surface. And as I get close to that fifth, that's the moment where I have to reach into the deck and apparently grab a playing card out. So I'm going to fold my fingers in like this and kind of point to the deck like this. This is almost telling my audience what I'm doing, but it's also drawing their attention away from my hand. Naturally pointing to the deck, it makes them look at the deck. Now when I dribble the cards, this hand is going to swing through the deck and then show this card like this, as if I've just caught it at my fingertips. So when I fold my fingers under like this, finger 2 connects with the face of the card here, my thumb's already on the back, and then when I go through the deck, my finger clips that card here and then swings it forward. And if I do this right, if I go through the middle of the deck, it should look like I've just taken this card out of the deck like this. Now, when I watch back on some of the practices that I filmed, this hand naturally folds in to grab that card way too soon. And I think a wise audience and eagle-eyed audience would be able to see that. What I mean by that is, when I start dribbling these cards, when my hand starts moving in, the fingers reach back and grab and start swinging before they've even got into the deck. I know, Charlie, like, the audience probably wouldn't notice that, but it's something that you have to be aware of and something that you have to be conscious of. You want to swing that card out of the palm at the latest possible moment. Like this. Now this also looks pretty good face up, because you've got a duplicate, it means you can throw that card in this case, because the deck is face up, towards the top, the fifth down, and we don't necessarily need the Black Mariah for this. This time we have the 9 of clubs in a tenkai palm face up, and we have the 9 of clubs here. In this case, because I'm on the surface, I can do this and then put it into a position here so that they see it going in, and then at this moment they see me pull that card out. However, this also invites people to want to look through the deck, and it also removes a little bit of mystery from the trick. So method 3 and method 3.5, They're probably the easiest to execute, but they're not the cleanest looking methods, and they require the selected playing card to be in a right hand Tenkai palm. So with that card controlled into a right hand Tenkai palm and the deck is here, I can just go and lift the deck up like this. So this card is now resting on top of the deck, but from the front nobody can see this. And of course, once again, if I'm aware and mindful of my audience, I'm not going to perform this if there's anybody stood to this side of me. If there was someone stood on this side of me, this is a great method because they can't see this card. So if I lift the entire deck up, and as they're dribbling with my free hand, I'm just going to reach in and grab this from it, take it directly out of a Tenkai palm. So from here, pick the deck up, start to dribble, and then grab this playing card like this as if it came from the middle. Now, I don't like this because when you look at it from the front, which is how most people are going to look at it, it looks strange. Why am I reaching backwards and why am I pulling it away that way? It kind of looked like it came from somewhere else, and it's a bit more difficult to make it look like it came from the middle. However, we can develop this trick. We can take this one to the next level with the same idea. Tenkai palm, instead of putting it on top of the deck when we pick the deck up, let's start with the deck in this hand, and then I'm going to transfer it over to this hand like this. Now I can let go of that Tenkai palm because I've wedged it into the deck. I pushed it into the deck slightly just here. So now in this case, I can actually push it over a little bit like this, but I still need space here for my thumb to be able to dribble these cards. Now I can dribble these cards, and in this case, I can go through the deck from the back when I grab that card. Like this, so it goes through the deck. A very important note, you don't want this to be close to the bottom, because if it's close to the bottom, when you dribble those cards, this card falls very fast because of its position. You want to try and get it as close to the top as you can so that you can let a lot of cards fall. So it's going to be in about there. Again, 1/5 down, maybe 10 cards down from the top of the deck, and that means I can let a lot more playing cards fall before I grab that playing card and pull it through the deck. So it gives us a much cleaner performance of grab. Grab method number 4 is probably the easiest to achieve, but not the best looking in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure my audience would be able to figure out how this works just by watching it. So I lose the 9 of clubs in the middle of the deck. I'm going to dribble the playing cards across the table, and I'm going to grab that card from its exact position in the deck, just like this. Now, I'm sure most of my audience watching will be able to figure out what I just did and where that came from. You know I've got a duplicate 9 of clubs, and I'm sure most of you know that that came from the bottom of the deck. Now this is another one that looks a lot better face up. Looks like you're being more honest about the deception, because you're hiding the 9 of clubs in this case on top of the deck, and then you can throw this in face up so that they can see they went into the middle of the deck. No funny business. And now when we dribble, it looks like the exact card that we just put in the middle. Obviously, Charlie, because it's a duplicate. However, you do risk this spread showing the other 9 of clubs. Luckily in my case, you can't see it. Now the idea of reaching into a deck and grabbing a playing card, grabbing a selected playing card, is a very old principle in Magic. I try to stay away from the Magic industry and other magicians and other Magic learning material so as not to be indirectly influenced by other magicians. I like to discover and develop and create ideas on my own without influence. There's nothing new under the sun. And my granddad once said to me, before I could drive, if he put me in the middle of a wide open space with a car with unlimited amount of time, eventually I would learn how to drive that car. The thing is with playing cards and Magic and creations and developments, if you take 2 people and put them on opposite sides of the world, they've got no communication, no contact, you give them each a deck of playing cards and an unlimited amount of time, they're going to discover similar or the same things. So I know that there's a lot of things out there like this and similar things out there like this. So if you know of any of those, please let me know. Use the comment section. If you have your own ideas, if you have better ideas than what I presented here today, please let us know in the comment section. I'm always learning. I'm a student of Magic, a very proud student of Magic. Experience and the playing cards themselves are my teaching. Now, I mentioned secret entry number 5. I'm not going to teach it here, I'm going to teach it for the maligns, but I will tell you, for anybody who knows about the advocate then you have the cleanest possible method of grab on your hands. You hand the deck of cards to the participant, they shuffle. As they're shuffling, you invite them to name out loud any playing card. They name out loud a playing card, you take the deck back. As soon as you've taken the deck back, you dribble, reach inside, and you grab the very playing card that they just named. Now I'm sure you can figure that out knowing the advocate, but if you want to see that tutorial, if you want to learn that lesson, head over to the Alliance right now, madison.ist. Now just before I go, a special announcement. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers here at YouTube, and to celebrate that, I'm going to create an offer for my YouTube subscribers, completely free, a brand new masterclass on the bottom deal. So if you're struggling with the bottom deal and you need help with the bottom deal, if you need to master the bottom deal, if you want to learn it from the ground up, then this masterclass that I have on the way will be for you. It's going to be intense, it's going to be big, there's a lot that I need to cover, and I'm really excited to share it with you, so stay close. I'm Daniel Madison, mad love.